What up, Screen Fiends? I'm GB, and you're tuned in to Headz TV, where we like to discuss all the wonderful things appearing on your movie and your TV screens. In this episode, I'm going to give my predictions for the next episode of The Walking Dead. That's Season 7, Episode 15, and it is titled Something They Need. So as for always with the predictions that I give, I don't do spoilers. I try to do my best to stay away from any future episode information other than the title. I really don't even like to read the synopsises ahead of time. I like to go in as cold as I can. So all the assumptions that I make, which I'm usually wrong with, I go by the habits of the show. I go by the trailer, of course, and the sneak peek that they give. But other than that, it's just me just winging it. Okay, so we're almost at the end of the season. I thought things were going to start picking up in episode 14 as far as action goes, but not really. It was really more tension than anything. And now episode 15, I don't think it's going to be a ton of action either. We're going to get some. I'll get to that in a minute. But I don't think it's going to be a ton of action either, so don't get your hopes up. But compared to a lot of the other season, the rest, other episodes of the season, I think we'll be okay as far as action goes. And I think 16 will be a lot of action. I won't say action-packed. I won't say the most ever, but I think there will be some action and some great tension in the 7/16. Okay, so what do I think is going to happen? All right, so going by the trailer, we're going to get some Hilltop. We'll get some Gregory and Maggie. Now, that's probably all we're going to get at the Hilltop because nobody else is there. Enid's there, and we see her later with the group. So the group will probably stop by the Hilltop. But the bulk of what's going to happen in Hilltop is going to be Gregory and Maggie. And I think it's going to be more than a couple of scenes. I think we're going to get quite a bit of us wondering whether or not Gregory is going to kill Maggie. Of course it looks like that. Do I think that's going to happen? No. But do I think there will be a cowardly attempt? Yes. Do I think he's going to actually try and do it himself? No. But I do see him maybe letting a walker attack Maggie. She asks him to look out. So I can see him, leaving Maggie to the wolves, to the walkers anyway, so to speak, right? All right. So I think that's really all we're going to get with the Hilltop is Maggie and Gregory and kind of that battle for power. We'll probably see them interact with some other Hilltoppers. Maybe some Hilltoppers will listen to Maggie over Gregory, something. But what I see happening in this episode is that battle for power where Gregory's trying his hardest to hold on to being the leader and Maggie's not even really trying too hard to take it. All she's doing is being a good leader. And I can see the people, of course, siding with Maggie because she's much more likable and a better leader, as I said. Okay, and then we got Rick and the group that he takes to what we can all assume is going to be to the ocean side to try and either get them to fight or get the guns. Now, I think, of course, Tara wants to keep the peace and everything, and they're all women and children, so I don't think there's really going to be any violence towards the ocean side. They may let off a shot or two towards our group, but I think it'll be diffused quickly when maybe Tara shows her face and the other chick, I forgot her name, gets in the mix. The one that was friendly with Tara. But there's definitely going to be some friction at first, and I don't think Oceanside is going to be so quick to help Rick because I don't think they want to fight against the Saviors. They're scared of the Saviors, as everybody is, but I think they are more than anyone else because of the story we hear on how all the men and all the boys, 10 and over or whatever, were killed right in front of them. So I think they're a little bit more scared than everybody else. But I do think ultimately they're going to give up the guns, or at least a good portion of the guns, to help Rick and them take out the Saviors. One, because it's getting rid of a common enemy. and they can come out of hiding and all that once the saviors are gone. And two, I think maybe there's going to be a walker incident by Oceanside, either caused by Rick and them, intentionally or unintentionally, or just by, calamity. There'll be, some incident where walkers come and Rick's group ends up saving the Oceanside community, something like that. But I do think ultimately they're going to at least get the guns, if not help and the guns, but I don't know about the help, honestly. Okay. And I also, even though there was nothing of this in the preview, I also think once they get the guns, they're actually going to go to the junkyard to get that going and give them their guns. And I do not trust the junkyard as far as I could throw them, all because of what Jadis says. We take, we don't bother. So basically what that means to me is they look for the easiest way to get what they need. And the easiest way is not fighting the saviors. The easiest way is waiting for Rick and them to just hand them the guns and then either trying to kill them or bouncing on them or not showing up when they're supposed to show up. Do I think they're working with the saviors? I do not. Do I think they're going to betray Rick? I absolutely think so. And we'll probably see that maybe at the very end of this episode, or they might save that reveal for 616. Actually, 716. I actually think they'll save it for 16 because I can see the the junkyard's supposed to show up at a certain time and place and them just not showing up. And that being part of, our arc for next season or maybe for the rest of 716. That way it's not all group versus Negan, because you don't want to have too much of that before the war actually gets in going. So yeah, so I think they're going to go to the junkyard. I think they're going to make the deal for them to show up and give them a whole bunch of guns and all that. And I think eventually they're going to get fucked over by the junkyard crew. Okay, so that's how I think that story is going to play out. And then I think there's one more bit of story, and that's gonna. I know in my review of last episode, I said I didn't think they were gonna show us Sasha, until the finale. But now I'm starting to think that we are gonna get Sasha, at least for a little bit in this episode. I think we'll see her get caught. I think us comic fans will have the privilege of seeing an incident with the Savior, probably Dirty Davy. And I think it's going to be left on what's Negan going to do with this. Because he's going to look at this as an act of war. From what I don't know the exact words, but in the trailer he says something like, could this be the start of the war? Or could this be the beginning or whatever? And I think that's what it's going to be. He's going to take it as that. And who knows, they're going to leave the episode with, what is Negan going to do? Is he just going to go crazy? Is he going to kill Sasha? What's he going to do? And I think a lot of us comic fans also will maybe have a hint to where that story may possibly go. It may not go that way. It'll probably go that way and be remixed. It's already been remixed somewhat. I'm just trying to be vague because I know a lot of people don't read the source material or plan to eventually, and I really am not for spoilers. I don't like to get spoiled, and I don't like people to spoil things for me. So, all right, that's pretty much it. That's where I think the episode's going to go. I think it's going to be an eventful episode in setting up the finale, which a lot of people aren't going to like because the whole season is really just one big setup for next season. But it was necessary. I do agree with many of you. There should have been more action and more things happening other than figuring stuff out for these groups and scavenging and all that. It should have been there, but there should have been more of a walker threat. That way, you don't have to have all the people on people stuff. You still give us some action. You still give us a little bit of the gore and blood we like, and it would have kept the pacing up. I'm going to do a video about how The Walking Dead should take a cue, I guess, from Game of Thrones to make their episodes flesh out better for most fans. I don't really mind the way they do it because I know that when I binge watch, it doesn't come across the same way as it does when you have to wait a whole week for another episode or 7 months for the next half of the season. When you're able to binge watch these slower parts of the seasons or slower seasons, flesh out so much better. Season 2, which was really hard to get through for me on TV, there were some great episodes, but sprinkled out of a whole bunch of really slow ones. But when you binge it, it's a much more enjoyable experience. So, as I always say, bear with it, fans. Please don't give up on the show now. It's still a great show. They're just setting up a lot of stuff for characters and story that will pay off. I would give my personal guarantee, my personal stamp of approval on it. I don't work on the show, but I would definitely guarantee that a lot of this stuff is going to pay off next season. All right, that's it for this video. If you want to chime in on your predictions, you want to tell me I'm wrong and I'm an asshole, comment right down below. Let me know anything you want to know. Constructive criticism, the good, the bad, the ugly. I want to hear it all. And if you want to be part of the Screen Fiend fam, of course, subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff. Show some love. And I'll keep on doing what we're doing. Getting better every time. And that's it. You guys have a good day, and I will see you next time.